Welcome to Sissygram Spicy Story Channel. If you like my voice, then hit the like button and do subscribe our channel for regular updates. Today I come up with whole new content of story. So, now let's start the story. It was a sunny afternoon when I first sensed something was wrong. My husband had been acting strangely for weeks, but I couldn't quite pinpoint what was going on. He was distant, constantly glued to his phone, and whenever I asked him about it, he brushed me off with vague excuses. We had been married for 8 years, and like any other couple, we'd experienced our share of ups and downs. Yet, we had always managed to find our way back to each other. This time, however, felt different, like an invisible wall had been built between us. At first, I tried to convince myself I was overreacting. Work had been hectic for both of us, and I thought maybe that was all it was. But deep down, I knew better. There were too many signs I couldn't ignore: the late-night texts, his sudden secretiveness, and the growing distance between us. The intimacy we once shared had dwindled to almost nothing, and the warmth of our nights together had been replaced by cold silence. One evening, as we sat watching TV, I noticed him texting again. I couldn't hold back any longer. "Who are you texting so much?" I asked, trying to sound casual, though my heart was pounding. "It's just work stuff," he replied quickly, not even looking up from his phone. Work stuff at this time? Hoping he would finally look at me, reassure me, and ease my growing doubts. But instead, he sighed and dismissed me with, "Yeah, we're launching a new project. It's nothing, don't worry about it." But I did worry. I couldn't shake the gnawing feeling in my gut that something wasn't right. That night, after he fell asleep, I lay in bed wide awake, my thoughts racing. I knew I needed to find out the truth, even though a part of me was terrified of what I might discover. The next morning, while he was in the shower, I picked up his phone. My hands trembled as I scrolled through his messages. At first, everything seemed normal: texts from colleagues, friends, and family. But then, I saw it. A string of messages from someone named Rachel. I didn't know anyone named Rachel. My heart sank as I opened the conversation. What I saw confirmed my worst fears. The messages were flirtatious, full of inside jokes, and more than anything intimate. It was clear he had been seeing her behind my back, and it had been going on for months. What shattered me even more was realizing he hadn't kept it private. He had been sharing details of the affair with his close friend, Mike. Their messages were filled with jokes about Rachel, laughing about their secret rendezvous, and even discussing the things they had done together. It was as if my marriage, my trust, had become a joke between them. I sat there in shock, unable to move. The man I had loved and trusted for so many years had not only betrayed me with another woman, but had also mocked our relationship with his friend. I felt numb, like the air had been sucked out of the room. My entire world was crumbling, and I didn't know what to do next. I stayed frozen for a while, staring at his phone, trying to process what I had just uncovered. A wave of anger rose within me, but it was quickly followed by a deep sadness. How could he do this to me? How could he share something so intimate, something that was supposed to be ours, with another woman, and then laugh about it with his friend? When he came out of the shower, I didn't confront him right away. I was too overwhelmed, too shaken. Instead, I quietly put the phone back and pretended everything was normal, even though I was screaming inside. I needed time to think, to decide what to do. Over the next few days, I watched him closely. I pretended to be in the dark about his affair, but every time he smiled at me or tried to make small talk, I felt a sharp pang of betrayal. I was living with someone I no longer recognized. A week later, I reached my breaking point. I couldn't keep pretending. After dinner one night, I sat him down. My heart raced, but I knew I had to confront him. "I know about Rachel," I said, my voice trembling but firm. For a moment, he froze. Then, the excuses began. "It's not what you think," he stammered, his face pale. "It was just a mistake, a one-time thing." I shook my head, fighting back tears. "Don't lie to me. I saw the messages. I know it's been going on for months. And I know you've been talking to Mike about it too." The look on his face was a mix of guilt, panic, and defeat. He tried to defend himself, to justify his actions, but there was nothing he could say to undo the damage. The betrayal ran too deep. That night, I packed a bag and went to stay with a friend. I needed space, time to process everything. In the days that followed, I experienced a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, sadness, disbelief. I couldn't fathom how the man I had trusted with my heart could betray me so completely. I had given him everything, and in return, he had turned our marriage into a mockery. But as I grieved the loss of the relationship I thought I had, I began to find strength. I realized I didn't have to let his betrayal define me. Slowly but surely, I started to reclaim my life. I filed for divorce. It wasn't easy, but it was the right decision. I couldn't stay in a marriage where trust had been so thoroughly broken. He tried to apologize, to make amends, but it was too late. I couldn't forget what he had done, and I couldn't forgive the way he had laughed about it with his friend. The man I thought I knew was gone, replaced by someone I couldn't recognize. Months later, as I reflected on everything, I realized his betrayal had taught me something important. It showed me a strength I didn't know I had. I had faced heartbreak, humiliation, and betrayal, but I had survived. More than that, I had emerged stronger, more self-assured, and determined to live life on my own terms. The love and passion I once thought were the foundation of our relationship turned out to be fragile, built on lies. But now, I was free to find something real, something built on trust and respect. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I also knew I deserved better. As for him, I don't know what became of his relationship with Rachel or his friendship with Mike. But I no longer care. He made his choices, and I made mine. I chose to walk away from deceit and pain and toward a future filled with hope and possibilities. Where the story wraps up. Share your thoughts in the comments below. For more stories like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you soon. See you next time.